the cord on this computer. All right, let's keep our fingers crossed this works. All right, so hello and happy Thursday. I am super excited about this call. And it comes, for me at least, at a really great time. So I hope that you find that it's coming to you at a really great time too. The topic tonight is Time Sucks, a coach's guide to maximizing power pockets throughout the day. And there's a reason I'm leading this call. As of a few weeks ago, I would find myself putting the kids to bed, lying down on my bed with my phone and scrolling Facebook for a good hour plus. Just scrolling Facebook with no purpose at all other than to kind of like let myself feel numb. I was just so exhausted from the day that I wanted to do nothing but scroll. Like I just wanted to do nothing but forget about everything. And I really found myself losing the passion for everything. I felt myself starting to feel sad and down. I started to find myself doing a lot of comparing, and it just put me in a really bad place to the point where I shared a post, just like 2 weeks ago that I was struggling to find out where I was. I know I have this bigger purpose in life, but I couldn't figure out what it was. And then boom, like I had shared right before I started recording, having been on our past 2 weeks team calls with Jason and then Catherine and really focusing on mindset and opening up a new personal development book kind of brought me back to life. So I don't have enough time. There's just not enough time in the day. If only I had more time. We all have the same 24 hours, but it's what we do with them that makes the biggest difference. So I read this article while researching for this call from investing.com, and the article was from September 13th, 2017, so it is very relevant. Facebook reports that the average user spends 50 minutes per day on Facebook, Instagram, and its messenger platforms. Considering the average person spends 9 hours sleeping, then about an hour out of the remaining 15 is a lot. And that's the average. At least 1.3 billion people use Facebook for more than 50 minutes per day, and 15% of users look at it more than 50 times per day. How crazy is that? I mean, if you think about it, you don't really think about how many times do you just pick up your phone and just go to Facebook just to pop on, just to check your notifications, just to see what's going on. I mean, talk about a time suck right there. So think about, like, what can we do to combat this issue? Before being able to combat it, think about what you'd rather be doing with that 50 minutes, that hour, however long it may be that you're spending on it. For this purpose of this call, we're going to focus on business building time. But for challengers or prospects, it could also help to put lack of time into perspective for them as well. Maybe it's not enough time with your kids or your spouse or to work out or to meal prep, whatever it may be, we can put this call into perspective for somebody else wherever they may be. So, but even though we're going to talk about having the, bringing back the time to work on your business, it's not enough to just think, okay, well, now I could have this extra 50 minutes in my day to do X, Y, and Z. Once you know what you want to do with that time, you have to know why. And this is what I was starting to say about finally figuring out my why. So this is where I was saying, this is a great opportunity to go back. If you have not listened to the calls that Catherine and Jason did the past 2 weeks, dig deeper into that mindset work. Jason challenged us to pick a word that defines us and then write 100 words and then create that affirmation around it. And every day during my workout, I have a whiteboard marker in my hand, and I've been writing on my mirror every day as something new comes to me. 3 weeks back, I wasn't thinking in those positive terms. Now words are coming to me and I'm like, oh my goodness, I am creative. I am organized. I am, of course, now I can't think of the ones, I am well educated, or I am an influencer. Whatever those words might be that you want to be, what you want to project on the world and come back to, whatever they may be, make sure that you're doing that activity and you're putting it somewhere that you can see it and read it back to yourself, because that's really important. So I know that's getting off on a little bit of a tangent, but you could have this extra 50 minutes in your day But if you don't know why you want to devote that 50 minutes to the business, you're still going to find yourself back scrolling. So that's kind of why I went off in that little tangent there. So without knowing your why you want to build your business, you won't be ready to make the uncomfortable changes necessary to pull you away from the daily time sucks, AKA that mindless scrolling, watching viral videos, reading the articles your friends share, watching your kid, whatever it may be. So how can we combat? So you know your why, you know you're going to devote this extra time you have to building your business. So what are some things you can do to help break the ties with your phone, break the ties with social media when our business is built on social media? One, before you ever open your Facebook or Instagram app, set a timer. Better yet, think of a purpose for opening your phone up. Like every time you do it, have a purpose. Every time you go to Facebook, have a purpose. And incorporate mini power hour to-do tasks throughout the day. So have that power hour to-do list somewhere on your phone. Have it right in your photos, have it on your background. So you can be like, okay, this time when I touch my phone, I only have about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to add 5 new friends in this 5 minutes I have, setting that timer. I'm going to send 3 messages in this 5 minutes I have that I'm on my phone. Or I'm going to follow up with a few messages, but setting that timer, having that purpose for opening your phone. Another great one is to check in with your current challengers. Another option, number 2 for breaking this habit is to try an app. Now, guys, I'm really excited about this. So if you've been on my calls before, you know that I use, actually, I can't even remember what it's called right now. I have it written down somewhere. Oh, that's right. It's called Newsfeed Eradicator. I use that when I'm on my computer, so I don't have a Facebook newsfeed. I physically have to go out and search people or go into groups. I love that. So I don't know why I had never thought about apps for my phone before to help increase productivity and tell you what you're doing during the time you're on Facebook or what the time you're on your phone. So try an app. A few that are out there are called Break Free, Moment, Off Time, and Realized. Off Time and Realized are for the Android phones, I think, and then Break Free and Moment are for the iPhone. I've been using both Break Free and Moment, and for the purposes of this call, I actually purchased like the upgraded ones. One was $199 and the other was $399. They're awesome. And why I think they're awesome is because Break Free gives you like a, you probably can't even see it, but it gives you your dashboard and gives you a score for the day. And this little guy who's there, like, don't check your phone for the next 30 minutes because your addiction score is really high. And mine's really bad too, because like I let my son use my phone as different things throughout the day. So it's even worse. Like 3 hours, 23 minutes was spent on my phone today. I unlocked my screen 92 times. So it tells you these things. It gives you a daily, a weekly, and a monthly total. And then you can get achievements and badges. It's really good if you like to compete with yourself for things like that. And the Moment is really awesome. Okay, thank you. Because they kind of give you different daily tasks to do. And they have little courses that you can follow. So day number 1, observe yourself. Day number 2, keep your device out of your reach. And it gives you reminders throughout the day. But what I love most about these apps is you can set notifications. So every 5 minutes that I'm playing consecutively on my phone or I'm doing whatever on my phone, it tells me, it gives me this tiny reminder with this really annoying chirping sound. And it's at the top of your screen. And it's like, are you interacting on your phone or are you scrolling? Swipe down to select yes or no. And it literally makes you swipe down before you can do anything else. Or it pops up another notification, like if you don't do it. So that's really awesome. And that's been a really big reminder. So if I catch myself scrolling and it's been 5 minutes and that pops up, I'm like, okay, now it's time to either put my phone away and go do something more productive or respond to messages or whatever. But I found myself reading more this week. I have found myself responding to a lot more messages, sending a lot more messages, and just being way more purposeful since I've started using these apps on Sunday. So that's number 2 for combating, the mindless scrolling. Scrolling sucks. your time away. It sucks your time away from things you might need to do around the house. It sucks your time away from your kids. It sucks your time away from your business. It sucks your time away from everything. So unless you have a purpose when you're going, and I'm not saying that like, you can't enjoy a little bit of leisure time on your phone or doing whatever, but how would you rather spend your leisure time? Like maybe we need to rethink what we're doing for our leisure time. Maybe you could find maybe personal development, like you don't want to read that all the time, but maybe you could find a book you enjoy. Maybe you could take a bath. Maybe you could just sit outside with your husband and have a cup of tea, or your spouse and have a cup of tea, or a glass of wine, whatever it may be. Maybe it's time to start rethinking what that mind-numbing time needs to be, because that's what I've found myself, and it's been extremely eye-opening, like I shared. So number 3, keep your phone out of reach. When it's not work time, turn off the volume and the notifications. Do what you need to do without the distractions. And I've been really big on this anyways. When I'm with the kids, I try to make it completely kid time. I'm lucky enough to be first a stay-at-home mom, and my kids deserve all of me when it is that time. Yes, they're good at learning independent play while I do other things in the kitchen and need to, but keep your work time, and your kid time, your kid time. If you're trying to do both at the same time, both are going to fail. So that is that one. And then the reminder, work from your computer whenever possible, and using that newsfeed eradicator for Facebook. That's been awesome. I love working from my computer, and a lot of people, if it takes me a day to respond to messages, I always apologize to people. I'm so sorry, I really like to message from my computer so that I can give your message my full attention, blah, 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 blah. And I'm very genuine about it. It's not like I'm just putting them off. I just really prefer to be at my computer when I'm working and responding to messages or emails. And then number 4, which kind of ties into number 3, but schedule your business hours when possible and schedule your downtime. So I know it's not super easy to schedule your business hours, especially if you have little ones or if you have a rotating work schedule, but try to put down what you think and know you when you think you could get that time in. So I always wake up first thing, I get my workout in. If there's any time between getting my workout in and the kids waking up, that's time for getting a post up and doing personal development. Once the kids wake up, I'm done until Addie's first nap time, when Brock's at school. If Addie goes down for a nap, then I come right to my office. I do not stop and do a single thing. I come right to my office and work until she wakes up. If there's still some overlap and I'm trying to get some things done, then I have some quiet activities planned for her so that I can finish working. Same thing, Brock gets home from school. They both go down for their 2:00 naps. If Brock doesn't go down, he gets a quiet activity for at least an hour of Addie's nap so that I can devote that other hour to work. It's just that balance of finding what works for you, but scheduling it in so that you don't feel guilty about the time you have away from your phone or computer or work. Make the most of the time you've been given. Like I said, when we started out, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So how is it that some people can be super successful with that 24 hours when some of us are asking, why don't I have enough time to get this and that done? So just keep that in mind. And then, so those are my tips for, breaking free, so to say. But I also want to share, about a year and a half ago, I worked on my first freemium. So if you don't know what that is, it's like a free offering that you could give people for their email address in exchange. And I worked on my first one, and it was 25 ways to find 15 minutes for you. And there were a few points on that document that I think really hold true for this group as well. But again, same thing with that freemium. It's something that could be used at any stage, whether it's for working out, whether it's for just finding time to meal prep, whether it's for finding more time for your spouse or your kids or whatever it may be. But these are some that I thought really would work and resonate with our business. So rise and shine. Wake up earlier and eat that frog. Maybe you're not like a workout first thing in the morning type person, but what if you just woke up 15 minutes? Like if you know your kids wake up, say 6:45 every day, or you have to leave for work, or you have to wake up to get to work on time by, 5:30. wake up at 5:15. I know it sounds like a lot. Oh my goodness, 15 minutes earlier. But you'd be amazed what that 15 minutes can give you. Whether it's 15 minutes of personal development, 15 minutes of meditation, 15 minutes of sending out messages so that, that that hard part is over for the day. Whatever it is, take that 15 minutes, get up before everybody else and get it in. You will not regret taking that extra time to yourself. Even on some of the most sleepless nights, like Addie randomly wakes up, Brock still randomly wakes up. Even on those nights, even when it's hard to drag myself out of bed, I'm so much more thankful for those, 15 to 20 minutes at least to myself before they get up in the morning. And it makes me a happier, more positive, more giving mom because I have that time to myself. Okay, so next point from this freemium was having tunnel vision. So I said, when they go up for their nap, I come right into my office and I get to work. Know what you need to do and get right to it. First task at hand. Set that timer for the first task on the Power Hour to-do list. Daisy, Leslie, and I had, or Devin and I, we all had a call the other morning. And as soon as that call was over, I said, guys, I have to get Abby to her nap. And then, I'll get to the to-do list from our call later. I need to sit down and do my Power Hour first. It's just what we have to do. You have to do those business building activities first. The next point that, another way to find a few extra minutes is by finding a success partner. Having somebody who's going to hold you accountable to making sure you take that time and that it's focused time. Next up is learning to say no. Just a reminder, you don't have to say yes to every opportunity presented to you. I know this is one that a lot of us have had ingrained in us for as long as we can remember. Oh, you have to go to this party. You have to go to this sporting event. Your kids have to do all the sports. You have to do everything, and you don't. I sometimes feel the most free when I decline an event that just does not serve me or my family at this time. You have to make the space for the things you want. But if your calendar is full of things that you don't want to do, things that are going to drag you down, then you might have to rethink what's on it. And again, I know this is a tough one and, it's something that you need to figure out for you. But for me, that's very freeing. I am a super huge introvert. So too many social outings really gets to me and just brings me down. So I try not to jam pack my calendar. Next up, delegate and be honest about what you need help with. So, are you working full time and trying to grow this business, but you can't find time to make dinner? So could you have somebody come help you make dinner? Could you look for a meal service that, does healthy meals on the go, or a prep service that has that stuff ready for you? Would it be helpful if a family member went food shopping for you so that you could have that time to get something done? Or maybe your little ones don't nap, but you have somebody who you trust who could come over and sit with them for a few, an hour each day, or maybe 3-hour windows 2 or 3 times a week. Could you do that? So just delegate and be honest with what you need. I found that the more specific we can be with certain people, the better it is. And most of the time, it's people who are willing and want to help. They just don't know how. So by giving them those, exact ways that they can pitch in and help you as you're growing this is awesome. It's huge. And then the last point I want to bring up is to work while you wait. So you could be in line at the store. You could be waiting to pick up your little ones. And I know a lot of you guys are really good at this because I see when you pop on for your live videos, you're usually in the car picking up kids or in between running errands, and you have a few minutes, but you're stuck waiting somewhere. So work while you wait. Instead of picking up your phone and just mindlessly scrolling, respond to a few of those messages that have been sitting there waiting for you. Check in with your challenge group, make a post, schedule a few posts for the next few days. So they are just a few of the tips I had, a few of the ways to help maximize just those little power pockets of time throughout the day when you might otherwise be grabbing your phone and scrolling, or you might otherwise be, who knows? I know for me, the reason I focused so much on the phone is because I have found that the tie is typically with Facebook or Instagram and scrolling and comparing and letting that suck the time away. So just realizing that maybe you don't, but maybe you do have more time than you think. It's just a matter of figuring out what it is you really want to do with that time and why you want to do it. So if you are not already, please take the time to get clear on why you want to do this business, why do you want to grow this business. And it has to be more than just a surface level. Well, I want to buy, I want $500 a month so that I can buy X, Y, and Z. Well, why do you want to be able to do that? Like, peel away those layers so that on the days when you're really tired and you're really exhausted and you don't want to send another message, you look at that why, you remember that why, and it really draws you back into, again, notifications, they suck you in all the time. But so that it really ties you back to what you're doing, why you're doing this, and just keeps you moving forward more strongly than ever. So that's what I've got for you guys tonight. I'm not sure if I went through it too quickly. I hope it made as much sense as it did when it came out of my head and onto this paper. But this business is something that I've been passionate about from day one. I've gone through the different seasons. Those of you who have seen me since the beginning have seen me go through these different seasons, especially after having Addie. You think it's getting better, and then all of a sudden, you just get another loop thrown at you. So, so it's just something to keep in mind. Like, if you're at one of those places right now, you're at a lull, stay tuned in, stay as tuned in as possible, because you never know which call it's going to be that's going to spark something that is just going to inspire you and motivate you and bring you back to life. Literally, that is what has happened over the past 2 weeks, and I am pumped. A few of us have a What is Coaching call going on tomorrow morning, and I know that this fourth quarter of 2017 is going to be incredible, especially as we prepare for the new year ahead of us. So I hope you guys are feeling the same way, and I appreciate all of you who popped on live. I really do, because I know what a tough time of day this can be. So if anybody has any questions or anything, I don't think I ever actually muted everybody. So, but if I did, feel free to unmute yourselves if you have any questions or have anything you want to say.
That was an awesome call. Thank you so much, Amanda. Oh yeah, okay. I'm like, did I unmute myself? Am I just talking to myself again?
Nope, I heard you.
But I mean, so much of what Amanda is so true. And, being in this business as long as I have, I still catch myself doing the mindless scrolling. It's easy to do, when you don't schedule your time. I totally agree with the scheduling of your time, like that in and of itself. Mm-hmm. When I schedule out my calendar on Google Calendar, and from 9 to 10 is my power hour, then there's my team power hour, and then there's I have to dial it in, or I'm and Jason works from home too, so it's he comes down, he chit chats, and I'm finally I had to be I have this YouTube audio that I put on as my power hour music, so that he knows when the power hour music is on, he can't come in, because you have to find the things that that work. Because I don't have a door, I work in my front room, so but he always comes down, and he always I don't hear the music, can I come in? So but you have to find the things that work, but scheduling really is where it's at. Mm-hmm. Scheduling your day, especially if you're super busy, and but even when you work it full time too, for those of you, I know there's a few of you that work, you're at home, and you gotta make the time and put it in your calendar. That's something I learned years ago from Danny Johnson. She is all about scheduling the time in your calendar and having it dialed in, family time, mm-hmm. work time, your own time, your personal time, everything. So
it really does it just makes such a difference when that family time is just family time, and you're not trying to do something else or respond to a message. I notice as soon as I pick up my phone, it's chaos breaks out with the kids. oh my gosh, what happened? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not supposed to be doing this right now.
Well, and not only that with time management though, like if you're constantly on your phone all day long, checking your messages, your family's not going to like you very much, first of all. And you're also teaching people around you, the challengers that you're dealing with, the coaches that may be on your team, that you are available 24/7 for them. If you don't have those set business hours where, you have this time to this time where you do this and this time, if you don't have those set, people are going to expect you to answer on like all day long.
Yeah.
So you really do have to not be on your phone as much, as easy as it can be, responding to messages. You get someone that, messages you back about a challenge pack, like you're excited because, they want to do it, but check yourself and be like, okay, like, is it okay for me? Like, is this scheduled family time? Like, you have to check yourself. People are not going to like change their mind, like in an hour, like, unless you've programmed them to like, that you're going to respond right away, that's just one thing that I've learned in doing this.
So true.
Do you guys have any other questions for Amanda about time management, or for me, for Michelle, or, me and Michelle have totally different like schedules. Like she works full time. I work at full time. Like Amanda's got like little kid. Like, I think that, if you guys have questions like on time management, like we're here to answer your questions and to help you guys get a hold of your schedules. And so use this time, it's only 6:30, we probably have like 5-10 minutes. Like now's your chance to ask.
The one thing I just wanted to say before anybody has a question is, remember this can change. Like what might work for you now might not work for you in another couple months, may not work for you in a year. And, being a coach, gosh, this I guess is my 5th year as a working coach. I can tell you firsthand how many times I've had to shift around what I do and how I do it. And each summer it changes, each school year it changes, each kind of season of the school year changes because of sports activities and what my kids are involved in. And, Tammy and I were just having this conversation the other day where I'm like, I am struggling with finding the bigger blocks of time to do things. And, now that school's back in session and we're, back in the swing, I have kind of my Tuesdays and Fridays during the day back again. But like the first part of the year, it was appointment, doctor's appointments, doing this, following up with that, running here, taking my mom to medical appointments, so the days that I thought that I had, I wasn't having, and I was getting really frustrated. And that's going to happen. And just kind of go in knowing and expecting that. And, it's put me in a bad place in my head with my business. And as I'm sitting here listening to Amanda tonight, talk about everything that she was going through, I'm like, I call Tammy all the time. She'll tell you I'm like on the phone with her at least once a week complaining about something with my schedule and how frustrated I am. But I'm learning to work in the pockets, and I don't like it, but that's just what I have to do for now. Mm-hmm. Like I like to just sit down at my computer and be able to put my head in the game for like an hour or two, and I can't. And I'm finding the things falling through the cracks, and I don't like it. So, I have to find a different way that works for me to be able to manage that time and get done the things that I need to do. And part of, I think the problem is going back to doing the eat that frog stuff. And, I do the stuff that I like to do, not necessarily the things that need to be done. And I'm paying for it in a sense, where it doesn't get done, or I'm like, oh, I'll get this done now. And then later I'll do my invites, and then the invites never get done because of course that's the thing we like to do the least. I love doing content. I'll make meal plans. I do this, whatever. But when it comes down to inviting, I have to make that shift again and go back to doing that first. At the point that I started doing, or when I was doing that first consistently, my business, like that, those couple months of my business really rocketed, so it just goes back to, if you're not inviting people to your challenge groups, to your free groups, to the coaching opportunity, your business is not going to grow. And then you're going to get frustrated because you're going to feel like you're putting a lot of time, effort, and energy in and not getting anything. But what's happening is you're not doing the behaviors that you need to do in order to grow your business. So I hope that makes sense, because I mean, I cycle back to that and I know it, I know it from being through it over and over again. But when you see things kind of hitting that lull in your business, it's not the business, it's you, and go back to analyzing what behaviors are you doing. I've been spending way too much time on my free groups, on my content. I know that. I'm not spending enough time on my invites. So now now I'm putting it out there for the next month, I'm going back to putting my invites as my top priority, because that's what I know I need to do. So that's it.
And then the thing that you started with, Amanda, like the whole vision and knowing why you're doing this, and then keep asking yourself that why. It's funny. I pulled out, I don't even know if you have these, Michelle, the Craig Holiday CDs. Do you have those?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
No.
So way back, like 2011, there was a guru, and he made these CDs for Beachbody, and you could buy them, and they were these trainings, but it was very basic training, about getting started and about how you build a business. And so me and my success partner have been coaches for the same amount of time. We're literally 5 days apart. So we're old people when it comes to coaches. And so we both are getting out these old CDs just to see what was different then what it is now. And the very first one I listened to was your why, your vision. You have to be so incredibly clear on that. And it's funny because this is also the guru that Lindsay Matway hired when she first started. And what I'm noticing is that everything that he is saying is what Lindsay Matway is saying. When she's doing all of her trainings and when you watch her videos and stuff, it is exactly what he is saying in these CDs.
Interesting.
But the very first one is about your why and being really on it and understanding that it's going to evolve and it's going to change. And when you're first getting started, it's okay if you have on your vision board a new car or, something, because that's how, that's just how it works. And then as you grow and develop, your vision and your why is going to evolve and change and grow, but being clear on it. And I really love the analogy of asking yourself why and why and why, to get down to the reason, the real reason, and that's what you ask your challengers too. Why do you want to lose weight? What's it going to do for you? Why? You keep asking the why to get to the reason why you want to make a change and what this business, and it's going to keep you here. So it's funny because the video in the first one, he talks about the network being 30,000 coaches. That's how old.
Oh my gosh.
So, but I saw a very, very parallel what he was saying to how Lindsay Matway is training in her trainings. So she took his training and she was his mentor. She hired him to be her mentor. So
Success leaves clues.
Yep. So anyway.
So if we pull all our money together, can we hire him? No, I'm kidding.
I know, right? I don't even know what he's doing now.
I got $5. What you got?
I got the CDs. No.
Hold on to them. They could be worth something.
Right? I know. I'm actually trying to think of a way to use them to create a training or to share them privately on my blog or something, because I don't know where they are. Because there's some dated stuff in it, obviously, about how big the network is and all that, but the basics of it is so exactly what Lindsay Matway did. About, and even in the way that she runs her challenge groups with her new coaches. I I binge listens because I was driving around today and I was waiting, and so I listened to 4 of them. But the one on how to develop team members, he says the analogy of you do it for them. You have your new coaches in a challenge group with you. You're doing it for the first round. The second time you do a challenge group, your new coaches are doing it with you. You're riding a bike together, you're doing it together. And then the third time, you're on your own. I'll help you, but you do it. So it's the I do, we do, you do philosophy. And I see that in Lindsay Matway's, the trainings that she's got on her YouTube and everything. And that's how she has trained her team. you know, like, and that's what he, you know, talks about in one of those things I listened to today. So it's very interesting. So
Amanda,
Yeah.
can you just say the name of that app again? The one where it told you how many times you unlocked your phone?
Yeah, there
I
are.
don't even want to know.
I'm a little afraid to know, but I think it's
I got a
necessary.
problem.
One
I think
is
I do.
break free, and that one actually tells you how many times you unlock your screen and your phone usage. And then the other one is just a moment, and it's really cool. This one actually, like when you click on it, this one actually told me I have 144 pickups, even though the only other one said I only had 93. So I guess this one tracks every time you literally pick your phone up and down. I don't know. That's intense. But it tells you picked it up, and then like you spent 4 minutes on it at this time, 4 minutes on it at that time, 4 minutes on it at that time. I obviously do a lot in 4-minute intervals. 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 2 minutes. Like,
does it tell you what app like you're on? Like if you're on Facebook or anything, or does it just say you're on your phone?
it has insights, and I think there's a way. What this one does, what Moment does, it has you go into your like it has screen time detection or app use detection,
Mm.
and it has you go into like your battery area in your settings and screenshot it once a week.
Oh,
And that's how they do the breakdown.
interesting.
Like I can click on here, like what most use apps: Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram.
Don't spend too much time like trying to figure it out though if you haven't done your power hour.
Well, yeah, this one actually really was like a pretty they were both pretty easy to use, and then like the Moments one I really like because it does that tiny reminder every 5 minutes, and you can set it. You can go for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I did 5. I like that, and it does that like peeper sound, and it's just
It's funny.
I just went to a conference, children's ministry conference, but there's an app they were talking about called Unglue or Unglued that's kind of similar. It's designed so if you're a parent, you can have it on your kids' phones. And so you can set like they only get 20 minutes of phone entertainment. I mean, like 2 hours of phone entertainment a day, whatever.
didn't you just make
that
a
one called?
It's called Unglue or Unglued. But you can also put it on your own phone, and that does show you how long, like you spent 20 minutes on Facebook, you spent
Okay.
on
Okay.
Snapchat or whatever.
Well, my kids are not going to like me.
Me either.
But the cool thing they were talking about that the kids can do, they can message you through the app and say, like, while this guy was up there speaking, he was like, right before I came on, my 15-year-old sent me a message and said, hey, Dad, I finished my chores. Can I have 15 extra minutes? And so he can, from his phone, like give them extra time if they reach their like allotment.
They want to hate
Oh,
me.
they're okay. I
But
see
he
this.
said, like, because his kids are older, they're like 15 and 17, and so he has it on his phone too, and they can see his as well and see like, okay, Dad, you used your 2 hours of entertainment time today or whatever, and it does break down what apps you're in.
I don't want them to know what I'm doing.
Well, you don't have to do it that way. You can just do that.
Yeah, that's cool. They have the parental control one, and then they have like one for like kids.
Yeah.
mine aren't gonna like
It's going down now.
Don't tell them I told you about it.
I'd be like, you can be mad at Shay. Don't be mad at me. I'd be like, who the hell's Shay?
I'm sorry.
Where does she live? We're going to go find her.
My kid's only 4, so I was like, okay, I'll need that someday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any questions, but I was going to say, Amanda, thank you so much for this call. Like, I felt like the whole time you were talking, I was like, yep. So, seriously, like really good stuff. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being on. I appreciate it. It's nicer speaking to people. Thanks speaking with people.
Yeah. Well, and one thing that I was thinking about actually when you were just talking, Tammy, and you were talking about how important it is to schedule time, which it so much is, but also like for those of us who are working this and are working full time or whatever, it's also important to use the time, like you were saying, Amanda, those 15 minutes or the things when you're waiting, because you might not have an hour to schedule each day, but you have time in the carpool lane or in the grocery store line or whatever. So that's what I was kind of thinking, like, if you're at that point where you can't schedule like solid blocks of time, like those tips that you gave, Amanda, are really good to like not get sucked into the mindless scrolling. So thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. It's tough, like Michelle said too. You know, I mean, we'd all rather sit down for an hour or two if we could uninterrupted, but unfortunately, some seasons just do not allow for that sit down time.
Yeah. Well, and I find myself recently, like, and I don't know why it is, it's like this mental block where I'm like, oh, I'll get to that message later. But then when you actually do respond to the message, it's not difficult.
Yeah.
It, like, why do I put it off? I don't know. Cause it literally takes like 3 minutes and it's not like a bad thing. It's like such a mental thing. Like I had somebody message like first thing this morning, and all day I was like, oh, I'll get to that. And then when I finally did, I'm like, why didn't I just do that? Like at the beginning of the day, it's so dumb. I don't know. It's like,
Daisy and I literally had this
eat that frog.
We're like, I have 10 messages in my inbox.
Yeah.
I just haven't responded.
And it's not hard. Yeah. Like they're not difficult questions. So I don't know why
I know.
It's dumb.
I know. So yeah, using that time in line or in the car, well, maybe not while you're driving, but you know, like you're sitting there and you're not driving. I was like my mom's really good at like driving when we go somewhere together so that I could have work time.
Yeah.
And that's like a big respond to message time for me.
I know, like when the girl was talking on the wake up call, I'm like, how do you do that and drive? Like, and then she was like, oh, my husband. She's like carpooling with her husband. I was like, the whole time I'm like, how do you do it and drive? I'm like,
that's so funny.
So.
Awesome. Cool.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you again, Amanda.
Of course, I will do my best to get that recording up as soon as possible.
Yeah, thanks, Amanda. Sorry I was late.
Oh, that's okay. Hi, Kat.
You get detention.
I know how it is.
Yeah, I was at a back to school night for Carly, so that's why I was late getting on, but I do apologize. And sorry my video had no sound today. I had really great stuff I told you guys, and it's really bad that I'm going to smack Jason when I see him today because he was on the call and he didn't say, yo, Les, can't hear you.
So, no, he could hear you.
He could hear you. He heard you.
He heard you.
Oh.
But it's not on the replay. It's not, there's no sound.
I asked him, like, so did you actually hear what she was saying? And he's like, well, yeah. I'm like, well, what did she say? Like, nobody else knows. Like, I
oh,
don't.
man. Hi. I'll have to do a do-over tomorrow. Well,
oh, my gosh.
Good night, guys. Good night.
Good night.
See ya.
All right. Bye. Hi. Oh. Say hi.
Oh.
Say hi.
All
All
I don't know
right.
why I tilted like.
So you could see around my corner. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See
Have
ya.
a good one. Yeah.
He is.